business.
Thank you.
Uh,
Good morning. I'd like to call the Finance and Budget Committee to order and look for a motion to approve the minutes from the prior committee meeting. By Supervisor Bruno, seconded by Supervisor Etu. Any additions, corrections, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First, I'd like to welcome Mr. Cressito here.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Forward to working with everyone.
Next item is the privilege of the floor and public comment. Anyone would like to address the committee, or if the committee member would like to address us? Okay. We'll move on to the action agenda. And the first item is a request for transfer of funds as attached. Any questions about any of the transfers that's before us? We need a motion to approve those. Moved by Supervisor Merlino, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number two, these are items to be discussed by the county administrator, Mr. Taffler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 2A is the journal report of transfers approved by the county administrator staff for March 2024. And they were all pretty straightforward. I didn't see any that came out that looked question, like you might have questions on. Tammy, did you have any on the journal? Item 2B is a request for an appropriation of funds totaling $165,647 from vehicle reserve to various departmental budgets to cover the cost of vehicle purchases.
We have a motion to do that. Moved by Supervisor Driscoll, seconded by Supervisor Etu. Any questions about what's being proposed for vehicles? Okay, there's no questions. Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Item 2C is a request to amend health services, social services, and countryside adult home departmental budgets to recognize anticipated state aid towards the purchase of vehicles.
Moved by Supervisor Etu, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. This will help pay for the 165 or help?
In the amount of $30,112, $19,087, and $9,368.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Item 2D is request for a new contract with a vendor to be determined for automation of FOIL process to improve FOIL response. So basically, we've had 3 vendors come in and give us a give us a presentation on their FOIL software. We are at the point where the FOIL requests become pretty overwhelming. They take about 50% of the my confidential secretary's time to manage these FOIL requests. And we've talked about having some type of automated FOIL process, freedom of information law, for about a year now. And so we've reviewed all these, and we would like to award to a bidder a contract that would provide us this software. And that is, yes. And this is for 3 years, yeah.
Well, it's Civic Plus.
Civic Plus LLC. Yeah, that's what I didn't have that. All right. So we want to award it to Civic Plus LLC in an amount of $10,806 with a discount. If we do it now, we get a discount on the software. It'll be roughly that, the second year, possibly a 5% increase to $13,028. We do not have this in our budget, so it'd have to come out of the contingency account.
And just to clarify, it would be a 1-year contract with the option for 2 one-year renewals.
Introduced by Supervisor Bruno. Do we have a second? Seconded by Supervisor Karachi. Can we do D and E together? I mean, the E is the money from contingent account.
Contingency account.
Good with that?
Yeah, I'm okay. I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Can you briefly describe what this software does? How it's gonna expedite?
So it will help us when a FOIL request comes in. It will help us identify how to respond to that FOIL request. It will help us with redaction of pertinent information. Right now, a lot of times a FOIL request comes in, we print it out, and either the county attorney's office or county administrator's office or other offices will go through and line out, do redactions. It also provides us tracking software that will enable us to, when we get multiple requests for similar type information, it'll say, yeah, this information was asked before and this is a response. So cuts down the time. What would we say, Tammy, on cutting down, the time significantly, I think?
At least a third of the time, just simply for the tracking piece. The other piece, it's primarily for the tracking. The other piece is it automatically redirects based upon the request. So as you start to type a request, if the data already exists elsewhere, it'll direct you. So hopefully, the data that we're being provided is about a third of the requests that we today treat as FOIL requests will be redirected because the data lives somewhere else. Somebody else requested the data.
You're not reinventing the wheel, as I said,
Right,
but there's still, somebody's gonna have to
absolutely.
go through, coordinate or facilitate the redaction.
The program will actually do that. It's automated. So we load, my understanding is we load in there what the workflow is going to be, and then it's able to track it, provide reminders, keep track of it. It's not working on paper and pen or an Excel spreadsheet to try to make sure we didn't miss something.
Thank you.
Yes, Supervisor.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This is an approach that other capital region counties or like-size counties in upstate New York utilize.
We know of other counties. I think they gave us examples. Each one of the vendors gave us examples of other counties they're working with in the state.
So we try it for a year. See if we-
That's a good plan.
Supervisor Stroud.
Yeah, thank you. We didn't go out to bid or RFP this process, so, and I think you did in your initial discussion of the matter, refer to comparison to some other softwares that do the same thing, and this was chosen over the others for, I'm sure, good reason. But we did do a comparison at least.
Yeah, we did. We had 3 vendors who came and gave us a presentation. And the other vendors were significantly more expensive than this one.
Right, and, redaction is a very delicate thing. In that, if you over redact, it's gonna get us in trouble. And some of these software programs tend to do that. So there has to be a human element, I think, in reviewing the redactions.
What I like about this program is it actually, my belief, my impression is all of the programs now provide the ability to mark the reason for a section that's being redacted. Right now, we have a piece of paper that gets redacted, it gets scanned into a PDF, and there's no record of who did it why they did it, what the rationale was for it. So the system has some more features that help track that, which helps with the whole process, because when we get an appeal, it's good to be able to go back and actually see what the rationale was that was used in the initial redaction.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a big step from the way, the manual method that the county has
Reduce that.
always used, has always used.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, I'll call the question on D and E. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Carried. That leaves us with F.
Thank you, Chairman. Item 2F is a request for transfer of funds in the amount of $19,208 from the contingent account to the district attorney's budget to cover the cost of the state mandated district attorney salary increase effective April 1st, 2024 pursuant to section 183A judiciary law. As part of the budget process this year, the state increased district attorney salaries basically were increased as a result of the salaries are set with the judges' salaries. And so the judge salaries were increased in the state across the board. And as a result, the district attorney salary increases as well.
Moved by Supervisor Driscoll, seconded by Supervisor Bruno. That's a nice raise. Just for the committee's information, the current amount of contingent is $234,924.30. And this is these two items here, E and F, would be about 30,000, so we'll be down to 205. Any other discussion on F? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anything else, Mr.?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Number 3 is a referral from the Legislative Rules and Governmental Operations Committee. It's with the Board of Elections, and it's a request to appropriate $50,888 from Budget Code A898, Reserve Election Equipment, to Budget Code A1450, 260, to cover the cost of purchasing 7 new ClearCast scanner voting machines. Moved by Supervisor Stroh, seconded by Supervisor Bruno. Any discussion? Well, I was late for the meeting this morning. What, we forgot to get the 7 when we bought the other ones, or?
No,
They had
Budget.
originally wanted to do 55, and then to keep to the budget, they went with 45.
yes,
correct? Yeah.
that's correct. And they've determined that 45 may not be enough, given the extra duties that they've been given by the state. So they would like to purchase another 7 because of need and because of backup reasons and so forth.
Any other discussion? I'll call the question on number 3. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 4 is a referral from the Public Works Committee. Department of Public Works. A is a request to amend the 2024 Warren County budget in the amount of $1,288.29 to reflect receipt of insurance recovery payment for wood chipper. Introduced by Supervisor Driscoll, I'm sorry. Seconded by Supervisor Merlino. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4B is a request to establish various road projects for 2024 as outlined in the packet. Someone care to move by Supervisor Jirachi, seconded by Supervisor Etu. Any discussion on those projects? I added all those up and it's come up to $3,770,955.17. To my recollection, we appropriated $5,348,000. So I guess my question is, where's the other $1,577,000 and $77,045? Plus the 160 for Michael's Way. I guess, you know, I would like to know where that money's gonna be spent. But we can approve these. I can ask that question later. Any other discussion on the ones before us? Call the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is committee action on items that were in the Personnel Administration Higher Education Committee, and it's agenda items 3 and 5B through F. So item 3 is workforce development, and it's the request to authorize temporary positions for the summer youth employment program beginning on June 20th, 24. And ending on September 29th, 2024. And authorizing training slots for the program year 2024, which begins on July 1st and ends on June 30th, 2025. Moved by Supervisor Etu. Seconded by Supervisor Driscoll. Any discussion or questions about that? We've done this for years, so. I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And let's see. I think we could do 5B and C together. And there are it's a request through the county administrator, through the personnel committee, and it's to create a capital project number H432 for SUNY Adirondack electrical upgrade in the amount of 1.4 million. C is a request to issue a serial bond in the amount of 1.4 million to cover Warren County sponsor share of the capital project number H432. Introduced by Supervisor Stroud, seconded by Supervisor Etu. Any discussion about this item? Questions? Yes.
Do we know, I should have asked in the last committee, but when they plan on commencing the work, if it's approved in the next 30 days?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. I don't know when they'll want to award the project sometime this summer, hopefully, but as Dr. Duffy mentioned, and also I've heard that from their director of facilities, there are some long lead items that they may not get in till 2026. So the project's going to go on for some time, but they'd like to move forward with it. On the funding piece on 5C, we recommended serial bond for this. We are, and Rob Lynch is here, can talk about, our general fund balance, and we're getting close to the fund balance minimum with the money that we took out so far this year. And so our recommendation is we would issue a serial bond for this, and then in the fall, we're going to, I believe, issue a bond to roll some of the other DPW costs for the emergency repairs that resulted from the last flood, with the last heavy rainfall, into that bond, and we'll bond some of the other projects. I'm not sure what the total amount would be, but we would roll this into that bond as well.
And the total cost of the project is around 4 million. Half of it's met by New York State, 2 million of it. The other 600,000 is from our partner, Washington County. Any other questions? Call the question on 5B and C. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that one's carried. Yeah, sure. That's a public works
Yeah, but
item.
Chairman, item 5D, the fiscal manager for DPW is retiring and she's retiring the end of this month. We won't be able to probably fill that position by the end of this month. So she's agreed to fill in part-time and also to work part-time for us in an amount not to exceed $14,000 this year, and they have it in their budget just to transition the newly hired fiscal manager. So in order to do this, they need to have two fiscal manager positions. So they're creating this fiscal manager position number 2. That's the one they're going to advertise and fill. Once they fill that position, and once the fiscal manager has completed her transition through the end of this year, they would delete their fiscal manager 1 position. So it's not really a gain of an additional position for DPW. It's just a temporary transition of these 2 positions.
Introduced by Supervisor Molino. Seconded by Supervisor Bruno. This would be 5D and 5E, I would think, together.
And F as well, or no?
No, I think I would do that separate. Any discussion on this plan of action? I'll call the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, that's carried. And the last one is 5F, and that's also the Public Works Department, and that's a request for a transfer of funds in the amount of $15,071 from the contingent account to fund the temporary physical manager of Public Works position.
That was my mistake. So they do not have it in the budget. It has to go, we were asking for money for the contingent to cover that transition.
Introduced by Supervisor Bruno, seconded by Supervisor Merlino. Any comments or questions? I'll call the question on 5F. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any other items from the committee?
Might be on board.
Okay, privilege of the floor? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question on the Civic Plus LLC software for FOIL requests. You know, we're seeing an increase in FOIL requests at our town, and I'm not sure how much it would or wouldn't help it at the town level, but it seems like if it was possible to offer it to the town as part of the contract towns, not just Hague, it might be beneficial. Just wanted to throw that out there as a thought/request.
There's probably some legal reasons why we would not be able to do that. But from contracting perspective, the municipalities may be able to take advantage of the pricing that the county received to enter into their own contract.
Meaning we would pay the same 10,000 something dollars in our own right. Is that what you're saying?
Most likely. I don't know that to be sure, but most likely there's not a way to quote unquote, get it for free
Right.
from the county.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments? If not, a motion to adjourn. Moved by Supervisor Strauss, seconded by Supervisor Etu. We are adjourned.
Mr. Chairman. Which one?